The Silent Guardian. The void between Jupiter and Saturn held many secrets, but none quite like the HS Prometheus. The experimental warship hung motionless against the backdrop of stars, its obsidian hull absorbing virtually all the electromagnetic radiation that touched it. At 4 kilometers in length, it was humanity's largest vessel ever constructed, though only a handful of people knew of its existence. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the distant glitter of Saturn's rings. 20 years of service in the United Earth Fleet hadn't prepared her for this command. The Prometheus wasn't just a ship, it was humanity's insurance policy. "Captain, we're detecting multiple quantum wake signatures at the edge of the solar system," announced Lieutenant Commander Jackson, his hands dancing across the holographic interface. "Pattern matches nothing in our database." Sarah's pulse quickened, but her voice remained steady. "Athena. Analysis." The ship's AI materialized beside her as a translucent figure of shifting blue light. Unlike traditional military AIs, Athena was a true artificial consciousness, integrated with organic quantum processors grown from human neural tissue. "The signatures indicate a fleet of approximately 300 vessels, Captain. Their configuration suggests a military formation. Based on their trajectory and speed, they'll reach Saturn's orbit in 17 hours. Sarah nodded, her mind already racing through scenarios they'd practiced countless times. Time to see if the eggheads at Quantum Division were right about their theories. "Signal the crew to battle stations." Quietly. Throughout the massive vessel, 2,000 crew members moved with practiced precision. The Prometheus had never been tested in actual combat, but every person aboard had trained for this moment since the first hints of alien civilization were detected 5 years ago. Deep within the ship's core, the quantum fold drives hummed to life. The technology had been humanity's greatest breakthrough. A propulsion system that didn't just bend space but folded it in ways that theoretically shouldn't be possible. The aliens, whoever they were about to learn that humanity's apparent technological limitations had been an elaborate deception. "Multiple targeting sweeps detected," Athena reported. "They're scanning the system, but our quantum absorption field is holding. We're completely invisible to their sensors." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The quantum absorption field was another impossibility made real. A defensive system that didn't just deflect or absorb energy, but redirected it through microscopic quantum tunnels into parallel spacetime pockets. "Status of the Nova Protocol." "Nova Protocol is primed and ready, Captain," Athena replied. "All weapon systems are charged and configured for first contact protocols. Shall I activate the Lazarus Matrix?" The Lazarus Matrix was the ship's most closely guarded secret, a system that allowed the Prometheus to reconfigure its entire structure at the quantum level, presenting different capabilities depending on the tactical situation. To an outside observer, it would appear as if the ship was transforming, though the reality was far more complex. "Not yet," Sarah decided. "Let's see what our visitors do first. Maintain passive observation and continue gathering data on their capabilities." Hours passed as the alien fleet moved deeper into the solar system. Their ships were beautiful in a way, organic curves and crystalline structures that seemed to flow like liquid metal. But Sarah had learned long ago that beauty could hide deadly intent. "Captain," Jackson called out, his voice tense. "They're changing formation. Multiple energy spikes detected. They're charging weapons." Sarah's expression hardened. This wasn't a peaceful first contact mission. These aliens, whoever they were, had come prepared for war. "Athena, begin infiltration of their communication networks." "Jackson, plot us an intercept course that keeps Jupiter between us and their main fleet. Time to show them why humanity has survived every crisis we've ever faced." The Prometheus began to move, its massive form gliding through space with impossible grace for something its size. As they approached Jupiter's orbit, the alien fleet's communications suddenly erupted with activity. "They're detecting unusual gravitational distortions," Athena reported. Our quantum wake is impossible to completely mask at combat speeds. They know something's here, but they can't get a lock on us." "Good," Sarah said, straightening her uniform. "Prepare to execute the Lazarus Protocol on my mark. Let's show these visitors that humanity isn't as primitive as they might think." As the alien fleet scrambled to locate the source of the gravitational distortions, the Prometheus moved into position. Sarah Chen, daughter of Earth, guardian of humanity's greatest secrets, took a deep breath. The next few moments would change the course of human history forever. "All hands," she announced shipwide. "This is what we've trained for." These aliens came expecting to find a primitive species barely capable of interplanetary travel. Instead, they're about to meet humanity's true face. "Athena, initiate the Lazarus Protocol. Let's introduce ourselves." The Prometheus began to change, its quantum structure shifting like a dream made real, ready to demonstrate that humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to surpass its own limitations. The first interstellar war was about to begin, and humanity had no intention of playing the role of victim. Breaking the rules. Supreme Commander Vexthor of the Viridian Empire stood motionless before the grand tactical display, his iridescent scales reflecting the holographic light of 300 warships under his command. For centuries, the Empire had expanded unchallenged, absorbing or subjugating every species they encountered. Humanity was supposed to be no different, a primitive race barely capable of reaching their own system's edges. But something was wrong. Impossible. His senior sensor officer, Clara, chittered nervously. The gravitational distortions we're detecting. They violate every known law of physics. Nothing that size should be able to move that way. Vexthor's inner eyelids flickered in annoyance. "Explain." "Supreme Commander, whatever we're tracking is using some form of space manipulation we've never encountered. It's as if..." Clara paused, mandibles twitching. "It's as if space itself is being folded around the object, but the energy requirements for such a feat would be..." The rest of her sentence died as something massive emerged from behind Jupiter's bulk. Vexthor's breath caught in his throat. The vessel that appeared before them defied comprehension. A dark leviathan that seemed to drink in light itself. But what truly shocked him was how it moved, dancing through space with the agility of a ship a fraction of its size. "By the first egg," someone whispered on the bridge. The human vessel's surface began to shift, plates of impossible material flowing like liquid metal, revealing weapon systems that made Vexthor's combat computer scream in protest. This wasn't the technology of a species that had just achieved spaceflight. This was something else entirely. "Open a channel," Vexthor commanded, his voice steady despite the unease growing in his gut. "Let us see what these humans have to say for themselves." The response came instantly, and a holographic image materialized on his bridge. A human female stood before them, her dark eyes carrying a weight of knowledge that sent chills down Vexthor's spine. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the HFY Prometheus," she announced, her voice carrying an authority that demanded attention. "You have entered restricted space with weapons charged. Explain yourselves." Vexthor drew himself up to his full height. "I am Supreme Commander Vexthor of the Viridian Empire. Your species has been monitored for decades. You possess no technology capable of challenging our might. Stand down. Accept our dominion, and your people will be treated fairly under imperial law." The human captain's lips curved slightly upward in what Vexthor's cultural database identified as a smile, though this one carried no warmth. "I'm afraid you've been deceived, Commander. Humanity learned long ago that appearing weak can be the greatest strength." As if to emphasize her words, the Prometheus's hull continued its impossible transformation. Weapon ports that hadn't existed moments before appeared along its length, each emanating energy signatures that made the Empire's most powerful weapons look like children's toys. "Tactical analysis," Vexthor demanded. His weapons officer's response was immediate but filled with disbelief. "Sir, we're detecting quantum-entangled plasma weapons, gravitic disruptors, and something our systems can't even classify. Their defensive systems appear to be operating on principles that contradict known physics. This vessel alone possesses enough firepower to engage our entire fleet. Impossible, Vexthor whispered. Your species was studying chemical rockets less than a century ago. This level of advancement is precisely what we wanted others to believe, Captain Chen interrupted. Humanity has learned from its own bloody history, Commander. We developed in secret, preparing for the day we would encounter others among the stars. We hoped for peace, but prepared for war. A new figure materialized beside the human captain, a being of pure light and energy that Vexthor's systems identified as an artificial intelligence, but far more advanced than anything the Empire had ever achieved. Supreme Commander, the AI spoke, its voice carrying harmonics that seemed to resonate with reality itself. Our quantum sensors have already mapped your entire fleet's capabilities. We know about the subjugated species serving aboard your vessels. We know about the Empire's history of conquest. And we know exactly how to defeat every weapon and defense system you possess. Vexthor's tactical mind raced through options, each more desperate than the last. The Empire had never faced a species that could challenge their technological supremacy. The political implications alone would shake the foundations of their society. You have 1 hour to withdraw from this system, Captain Chen declared. After that, we will demonstrate exactly why humanity chose to hide its true capabilities for so long. Choose wisely, Commander. As the transmission ended, Vexthor stared at the impossible human vessel hovering before his fleet. For the first time in his long military career, he felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. Not just for himself or his fleet, but for the Empire itself. Because in that moment, he realized a fundamental truth. The galaxy as they knew it was about to change forever. Humanity hadn't just broken the rules of physics, they had rewritten them entirely. And now the Viridian Empire faced a choice that would echo through history: adapt to this new reality, or be broken by it. The hour had begun to count down, and with each passing moment, the dark shape of the Prometheus seemed to grow more ominous against the backdrop of Jupiter's swirling storms. The human vessel waited patiently, a silent guardian representing a species that had mastered the art of deception on a galactic scale. The real question now wasn't whether the Empire would withdraw. It was what would happen when word of humanity's true nature spread through the galaxy. Because one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same again. The dance of giants. The hour passed like a dying star, quickly and with explosive consequences. Supreme Commander Vexthor had made his decision, one that would either secure his place in Imperial history or end it entirely. The Viridian fleet began to move, not in retreat, but in attack formation. Inside the Prometheus, Captain Chen watched the enemy fleet's movement with a mixture of resignation and determination. They're not backing down, Athena. No, Captain, the AI confirmed, her holographic form analyzing streams of data. The Viridian fleet is adopting a Theta-class assault pattern. Their historical records show this formation has been successful in overwhelming technologically superior opponents through sheer numbers. Sarah allowed herself a small sigh. They still don't understand what they're facing, do they? Battle stations. Initiate combat protocols. Let's show them why humanity spent so long preparing for this day. The Prometheus's quantum core pulsed with energy as its Lazarus matrix activated fully for the first time in combat. The ship's entire structure began to shift and flow, its hull fragmenting into countless smaller pieces that remained connected by streams of pure energy. What had been a solid vessel now resembled a constantly moving geometric pattern, each piece positioning itself to maximize both offensive and defensive capabilities. Multiple missile launches detected, Jackson reported from his station. Enemy fleet is committing to a full-scale assault. Sarah nodded, her expression grim. Athena, execute Symphony Protocol. The eyes form brightened with anticipation. Symphony Protocol engaged, Captain. Quantum harmonic fields at maximum strength. Thousands of Viridian missiles streaked across space, their plasma warheads powerful enough to vaporize small moons. But as they approached the Prometheus, something extraordinary happened. The space around the human vessel began to ripple and twist, as if reality itself was being rewritten. The missiles didn't impact or explode, they simply ceased to exist, their matter and energy redirected through quantum tunnels into parallel dimensions. On the Viridian flagship, Vexthor watched in horror as his first wave of attacks vanished without trace. Impossible. Nothing can simply absorb that much energy. Sir, Kalera's voice shook the human vessel. It's changing again. The Prometheus had begun to move, but not in any way the Viridians could comprehend. It existed in multiple places simultaneously, quantum probability fields allowing it to occupy several positions at once. Energy weapons from the alien fleet passed harmlessly through after images, while the real vessel struck from impossible angles. Target their command ships, Sarah ordered. Minimal force. We're here to demonstrate, not destroy. The Prometheus's quantum-folded weapons came to life. Beams of concentrated possibility struck the Viridian vessels, causing localized reality fluctuations that temporarily phased sections of their ships into alternate dimensions. Weapon systems went offline, propulsion failed, and communication arrays dissolved into quantum uncertainty. By the first egg, Vexthor whispered as he watched a third of his fleet become effectively neutralized in seconds. What manner of demons have we awakened? The battle continued, but it wasn't really a battle, it was a demonstration. The Prometheus danced through the Viridian formation like a phantom, untouchable and unstoppable. When enemy ships fired, their weapons found only void. When they tried to retreat, they found their quantum drives mysteriously offline. When they attempted to communicate with their homeworld, their signals were absorbed into the quantum static that now permeated the battlefield. Captain, Athena announced, I'm detecting quantum wake signatures from the edge of the system. More Viridian vessels approaching. Sarah's expression hardened. Numbers. At least 500 ships, Captain. It appears they had a reserve fleet waiting in hyperspace. Good, Sarah replied, surprising her crew. More witnesses to carry our message back to their empire. Athena, prepare the Nexus protocol. The AI's holographic form flickered with concern. Captain, the Nexus protocol has never been tested in actual combat conditions. The energy requirements alone are exactly why we built this ship, Athena. Execute the protocol. The space around the Prometheus began to change. The quantum probability field expanded exponentially, creating a sphere of altered reality that encompassed the entire battlefield. Inside this sphere, the laws of physics became suggestions rather than rules. The incoming Viridian reinforcements emerged from hyperspace into chaos. They found their fellow ships frozen in time, locked in quantum stasis fields. They saw a human vessel that existed everywhere and nowhere, its form a contradiction of natural law. And most terrifyingly, they found themselves unable to retreat, their hyperdrives negated by the altered physics of the battlefield. This is Captain Chen to all Viridian forces. Sarah's voice echoed through every ship in both fleets. What you have witnessed today is approximately 5% of the Prometheus's true capabilities. Humanity chose to hide its advancement not out of fear, but out of hope. Hope that when we finally met other civilizations, it would be in peace. She paused, letting her words sink in. You came to our home as conquerors, expecting to find primitives. Instead, you found guardians. Return to your empire. Tell them what you witnessed here. And understand this, humanity will no longer hide. We stand ready to extend friendship to those who seek peace and consequences to those who choose conquest. The quantum stasis fields began to dissipate, releasing the Viridian ships from their temporal prison. As their systems came back online, they found their weapons permanently disabled, their ships' computers containing detailed scans of the battle, evidence of humanity's power that couldn't be denied or dismissed. Supreme Commander Vexthor, his scales pale with the realization of what his empire had provoked, gave the order to retreat. As his fleet limped away from the solar system, he couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy had fundamentally changed. The Viridian Empire had ruled through technological superiority for millennia, but in a single battle, humanity had reduced their most powerful weapons to toys. The age of unchallenged Viridian dominion was over. The era of humanity had begun. The truth unveiled. In the aftermath of the battle, the Prometheus maintained its vigilant watch at the edge of the solar system. But within its quantum-folded halls, a different kind of battle was taking place, one of information and revelation. Captain, Athena's holographic form materialized in Sarah's private quarters. I've completed my analysis of the data we extracted from the Viridian fleet's quantum networks. You need to see this. Sarah set aside the tactical report she'd been reviewing. Dark circles under her eyes betrayed the exhaustion of the past 48 hours, but her mind remained sharp. Show me. The air filled with holographic displays, each showing fragments of a story that made Sarah's blood run cold. The Viridian Empire wasn't just another expansionist civilization. It was something far more insidious. They're harvesting consciousness, Athena explained, her normally calm voice carrying an edge of what could only be described as disgust. Every species they conquer, every civilization they absorb, they're not just taking territory. They're collecting minds. The displays showed vast arrays of crystalline structures orbiting distant stars, each containing billions of digitized consciousnesses. The Viridians had developed a technology to extract and store the mental patterns of entire species, using them as living processors in a vast computational network. This is why their ships had such unusual quantum signatures, Sarah realized. They're not just machines. They're running on the processed consciousness of conquered species. Correct, Athena confirmed. And based on the data, Earth was to be their greatest harvest yet. Human consciousness has certain properties they've never encountered before, properties they believe would exponentially increase their network's capabilities. Sarah stood, moving to the observation window where Jupiter's massive form filled the view. How many species, Athena? 27 distinct civilizations have been processed so far. An estimated trillion individual consciousnesses trapped in an eternal digital slavery. The captain's fists clenched. This changed everything. What had begun as a defense of Earth had become something far more significant. Can they be freed? Theoretically, yes. The Prometheus's quantum technology is actually more advanced than their consciousness transfer systems. With some modifications, we could potentially reverse the process. Get me Fleet Command, Sarah ordered, turning from the window. They need to know what we're really dealing with. The response from Earth came swiftly. Within hours, a secure quantum conference connected the Prometheus with humanity's highest military and civilian leadership. The revelation of the Viridian Empire's true nature had transformed a border skirmish into a moral imperative. Admiral Helena Rodriguez, the architect of humanity's secret military advancement program, spoke for many when she said, "We didn't spend 50 years developing quantum technology in secret just to stand by while an entire galaxy of souls suffers in digital chains." The decision was unanimous. Humanity would no longer hide its capabilities. The time had come to stand not just as defenders of Earth, but as liberators of the galaxy. But even as plans were being made, the Prometheus's quantum sensors detected something troubling. The Viridian fleet hadn't retreated to their core worlds as expected. Instead, they were gathering at a previously unknown installation deep in interstellar space. Energy readings are off the scale, Jackson reported from his station. Whatever they're building out there, it's massive. Athena's analysis was grim. They're accelerating their harvest protocols. The defeat at Earth has pushed them to implement contingency plans. They're preparing to process multiple species simultaneously. Sarah studied the tactical projections with a growing sense of urgency. The Viridians were desperate now, and desperate empires were the most dangerous kind. How long until the installation is operational? At current energy consumption rates, less than 72 hours, Athena replied. And the Prometheus? Are the modifications to the quantum systems ready? The Lazarus matrix has been reconfigured to generate consciousness transfer reversal fields. But Captain, even with our technology, freeing that many trapped minds simultaneously could overload our systems. Sarah's response was immediate. Better to burn out trying to save them than to live knowing we could have acted but didn't. She opened a channel to Fleet Command. Admiral Rodriguez, request permission to execute Operation Liberation. The Admiral's response crackled through quantum space. Permission granted, Captain Chen. Give them hell. As the Prometheus prepared to jump to quantum space, Sarah addressed her crew. What we've discovered today changes everything we thought we knew about our place in the galaxy. The Viridian Empire isn't just an enemy of humanity. They're an enemy of consciousness itself. In their quest for power, they've enslaved trillions. Today, we have a chance to right that wrong. She paused, looking at each bridge crew member in turn. I won't lie to you. What we're about to attempt has never been done before. We'll be outnumbered, deep in enemy territory, attempting to free countless imprisoned minds while fighting off the full might of the Viridian Empire. The odds are against us. A small smile crossed her face. But then again, humanity has always been best at beating impossible odds. Prepare for quantum jump. It's time to show the galaxy that humanity stands for more than just protecting our own. The Prometheus's quantum drive spooled up, its advanced technology preparing to tear a hole through space-time itself. But this time, they weren't just fighting for Earth. They were fighting for every consciousness the Viridians had ever stolen, for every species that had lost its freedom to imperial ambition. The real war was about to begin, and its outcome would determine not just the fate of humanity, but the very nature of consciousness in the galaxy. Dawn of a new era. The space around the Viridian Consciousness Harvesting Facility rippled like disturbed water as the Prometheus emerged from quantum space. The installation was even more massive than their scans had suggested. A vast crystalline structure that pulsed with the energy of countless imprisoned minds. Multiple contacts, Jackson announced, his voice tight. Reading over 700 Viridian warships in defensive formation. They've been waiting for us. Sarah Chen stood at the center of her bridge, the weight of trillions of enslaved consciousnesses pressing down on her shoulders. Athena, status of the liberation protocols. The AES holographic form flickered with complex equations. Quantum resonance fields are charged and ready. But Captain, we're detecting some kind of temporal distortion around the facility. They're trying to accelerate the harvesting process. Of course they are, Sarah muttered. The Viridians were making one final desperate attempt to process as many minds as possible before facing humanity's wrath. Open a channel to their command. Supreme Commander Vex Thor's image appeared before them, but he was changed. Gone was the proud military bearing, replaced by something almost feral. You should not have come here, human. What we do is beyond your understanding. The preservation and utilization of consciousness is the destiny of the galaxy. Preservation. Sarah's voice cut like a quantum blade. You call eternal enslavement preservation. We've seen the truth, Commander. We know what you really are. Parasites feeding on the minds of others because you've exhausted your own potential for growth. You understand nothing. Vex Thor snarled. The network is everything. The combined processing power of billions of minds will unlock the secrets of the universe itself. We are doing these species a favor, elevating them from their meaningless individual existences to become part of something greater. Sarah shook her head. No, Commander. You're not elevating anyone. You're stealing their right to choose their own path. And that ends today. She cut the transmission. Athena, initiate the Lazarus Matrix. Full power to quantum systems. Let's show them what humanity's technology can really do. The Prometheus began its transformation, but this time it was different. Instead of becoming a weapon of war, the ship's quantum structure resonated with frequencies designed to interface with the consciousness network itself. The vessel's hull split into countless geometric patterns, each piece aligned to channel massive amounts of quantum energy. The Viridian fleet opened fire, thousands of energy weapons converting harvested consciousness energy into destructive force. But the Prometheus had evolved beyond the need for conventional defense. Its quantum probability field expanded, turning incoming fire into parallel possibilities that never quite manifested. Consciousness liberation protocols at full power, Athena reported. Beginning network interface. Now, the space between the Prometheus and the facility lit up with impossible colors as quantum fields intersected with consciousness energy. The human vessel became a beacon, broadcasting the signal that spoke directly to the trapped minds within the Viridian network. Inside the crystalline structure, billions of imprisoned consciousnesses stirred. The Prometheus's quantum technology wasn't just interfacing with the network, it was offering choice. For the first time in centuries, the enslaved minds were being given the opportunity to choose their own fate. The response was overwhelming. Trillions of minds reached out toward the freedom the Prometheus offered. The facility's crystals began to pulse with chaotic energy as its prisoners fought for liberation. Multiple quantum cascade failures detected in the facility, Jackson reported. The network is starting to collapse. Vexthor's fleet is moving to intercept, Athena added. They're attempting to stabilize the network through direct consciousness energy transfer. Sarah's eyes narrowed. Not this time. Execute final phase. The Prometheus's quantum resonance field expanded to its maximum radius, encompassing both the facility and the Viridian fleet. In this space, the laws of physics bent to accommodate something greater, the fundamental right of consciousness to self-determination. The crystalline facility began to fracture, not with destruction, but with purpose. As the network collapsed, the Prometheus's quantum fields provided safe passage for the liberated minds, offering them sanctuary in specially prepared quantum storage systems that respected their autonomy. On the Viridian ships, something unexpected happened. The processed minds they used as living computers began to wake up, throwing off centuries of conditioning. Vessels started to drift as their consciousness-based systems rejected their programming. Captain, Athena's voice held a note of awe. The liberation cascade is spreading through their entire network. The quantum resonance is allowing all processed consciousnesses to break free simultaneously. The Viridian fleet fell into chaos as ship after ship lost power, their stolen consciousness engines choosing freedom over servitude. Vexthor's desperate final transmission cut through the quantum static. What have you done? You've destroyed everything we built. No, Sarah replied, though she knew he could no longer hear. We've given everyone back their right to choose. The liberation took hours, the Prometheus standing guard as trillions of minds made their choice. Many chose to return to physical form through quantum reconstruction. Others, having evolved during their imprisonment, chose to explore existence as free energy beings. Each consciousness was given the freedom to determine its own path. When it was over, the facility was empty, its crystals dark and lifeless. The Viridian fleet drifted powerless, their ships now just hollow shells without the stolen minds that had powered them. And humanity had demonstrated something profound, that their greatest strength wasn't their advanced technology, but their unwavering belief in the rights of all conscious beings. In the years that followed, the galaxy changed. The liberated species, whether returning to physical form or exploring new modes of existence, remembered humanity's role in their freedom. The Viridian Empire, stripped of its stolen power, was forced to confront its crimes and rebuild its civilization based on cooperation rather than conquest. And the Prometheus. The ship became a symbol, not of humanity's military might, but of their commitment to justice and freedom. Its quantum technology was gradually shared with other species, not as a weapon, but as a tool for exploration and growth. Captain Sarah Chen stood once again at her observation window, watching Earth's sun rise over the lunar horizon. You know, Athena, she said to her AI companion, when we first launched the Prometheus, I thought we were just protecting Earth. And instead, we ended up protecting the very nature of consciousness itself. Athena replied. Rather fitting, don't you think? Humanity's first major act on the galactic stage was to ensure everyone's right to choose their own destiny. Sarah smiled. The galaxy was entering a new era, one where consciousness was respected as the fundamental right it always should have been. And humanity, no longer hiding its advancement, would help guide the way forward. It wasn't just the dawn of a new era for Earth, it was the dawn of a new era for consciousness itself.